Hello everyone, it's Roidman, and welcome back to my next project, which is going to be on the PlayStation 2. But which game is it? We'll find out. Okay, I know the game's working. Yep, it's a game made by Konami. Of Japan! A card. My kingdom for a card! Yep. This game includes a character from the Yu-Gi-Oh! Series. Well, more or less, it's a Yu-Gi-Oh! Game. The Duelists of the Roses. Yep. Now, back in the day, I played a lot of Yu-Gi-Oh! And because of that, it led me to play a lot of Yu-Gi-Oh! Games. This is being one of them. And trust me, this is a different just playing from your normal Yu-Gi-Oh! Game. And we'll get into that very soon, as it shows like here on the board. Yeah, a lot different. This was back in the days before the rules were finally in place. So yeah, there'll also be battle animations. I will try to show off the battle animations a lot, but not that often. If it's something that's basically repetitive, I will skip it. I can manually skip it, so I won't turn it off. But more or less, just to showcase monsters that will be in my deck a lot. And of course this does, well, I shouldn't reveal that yet. Oh yeah, I also know that the game does have passwords, but I won't use them unless I'm having a difficult time beating someone. So, I will try to run this as if you're not using passwords at all. So, how about we press the start button and go to new game. Now loading a bunch of cards. The British Empire in the 1480s. The War of the Roses. A power struggle between the House of Lancaster, Red Rose, and York, White Rose, to decide a royal successor was nearing an end. With the Yorkish well in the lead, the reign of Richard III was but a step away. And in France, Hughie Henry Tudor, the last Lancastrian heir, was being forced to live a life of exile. The Lancastrian forces were rendered powerless by ancient cards of sorcery wielded by Seto and his 7 followers, who known as the Rose Crusaders, served under the flag of Lord Crawford, a powerful Yorkist nobleman. Lacking a duelist in champion their cause, defeat was imminent for the Lancastrians. In England, duel card games were still at the fledgling stage. Thus, Lancastrians had to look elsewhere for a duel master capable of facing the Rosencrantz in battle. With this in mind, Margaret Mai Beaufort, a Lancaster, secretly requested a high druid to summon a duelist from another age. And we are at Stonehenge. Ooh! 7 from the mystic circle of red and white roses, with one capable of harnessing pure power. There was the truth to the legend of the Rose Duelist. Lady Margaret, I did it! Now we have the means for defeating the evil forces of Rosencrantz. I hope I'm saying that correctly. Oh, my apologies. In my excitement, I'd forgotten I was in the presence of the Rose Duelists. Allow me to introduce myself. I am Simon McMurran, High Druid and Servant of Lancaster. May I be so bold as to ask the name by which the Rose Duelists would like to be known? Okay, so right here, depending on what name you put in, will determine what your starter deck will be. And I'll explain that later, but we're going to name as ourselves. So, well, myself. And I will be, and no matter what name you put in, you will get the same 3 decks, no matter how many times you put in the name. So, if you put in the name and you know that it'll always give you the 3 same decks, it will always give you 3 decks as always. You can add in more letters just to see if you can, like, just spice up the deck lineup, but I'm just going to stick with this. Darian, a fine name indeed. Now, here's the situation. The year is 1485, and you are currently in Stonehenge, near Salisbury, England. The British Empire is in turmoil, with the House of Lancaster rightfully claimed to the throne being challenged by the Yorkist absurds. The power started to as the Wars of the Roses, a name based on the badges used by both sides. A red rose for the Lancastrians and a white rose for the Yorkists. Right now, our kingdom is threatened by the Yorkists and their wrongful claim to the throne. All because the Yorkists enjoyed the support of the Rose Crusaders and their sorcerers' White Rose cards. Using our Red Rose cards, we summon you, Darian, to this day and age. We hope that your dueling experience would defeat the Rose Crusaders and lead us to victory. You will help us, of course. You will? Foolish of me to even doubt where your loyalties lie. Rumor has it that only the legendary Rose Duelist stands a chance against the power of Rosencrews. We appreciate any help you can provide against them. Before I forget, I should warn you that the rules of dueling differ here from those of your age. Here in England, dueling is governed by what is known as the perfect rule. In addition to several minor distinctions, there are 2 major differences. One is the existence of movement or positioning. The other is the deck leader concept. These 2 aspects of dueling that were lost in the process when the ancient sports of duel monsters was adapted to card form. The perfect rule represents these lost rules that were miraculously revived here in England. Perhaps a practice duel will serve better than an explanation, shall we? And just because you guys don't know this game, or probably do, but I'm just going to give myself a little refresher course because I haven't played this game for a long while. So, let's play a practice duel. First, Darian, you must select a deck to duel with. It is important that you feel the vibrations of a deck leader, the minute resonating that ring, true to your soul. The cards themselves draw their power from the energies of the Ancient Ones. The deck leader acts as an intermediate between the Ancient Ones and the deck wielder. Darian, it is essential that you select a card leader whose rhythm matches the stirrings of your soul. Here are several decks from which to choose. Give it some serious thought and make your selection. Choose carefully, for the deck you select will guide the destiny of your duels. Now this is what I mean. No matter how many times I put my name in, I will always get Airknight Parshaft, Maiden of Aqua, and Multi-Behemoth. But this will be different every time you put it as a different name. So, who am I going to pick? Not Airknight Parshaft, and Maiden Aqua doesn't really have much to work with except for water, so Multi-Behemoth it is. I see you have selected your deck. So that's the effect of the Celtic Red Rose cards. it looks like there's some truth to rumor that Red Rose cards are capable of time transformation. Who's there? It's been some time since the Battle of Barnet, old one. Rosicruz, what brings you here? Only a member of the Rose Crusaders may call me by that name. If you may recall, I told you once before that you may only address me as Seto. Or does memory fail you, old man? And you must be the dreaded Rose Duelist. I must admit, there's a certain aura of power emanating from you. I believe an introduction is in order. I am Seto, leader of the Rose Crusaders. There are members of our little group who prefer to call me by the name of C. Rosencruz. I ask you again, what brings you here, Seto? Mind your manners, old man. What else would bring me here? I've come for the Red Rose cards. After all, it was you who showed me how the summon capabilities would evolve when the Red Rose cards are combined with the transport powers of the White Rose cards. You aren't thinking of attempting the forbidden Rose summoning? If so, then the Red Rose cards must never fall into your evil hands. Her sorcery taps into the power of the Ancient One. By their very nature, each card is a double-edged sword that can cut both ways. The Rose cards alone harness tremendous power. There are no telling what horrors one might unleash to the world by combining both red and white cards. I will sacrifice my own life if need be to prevent any from uttering the spell of doom. The spell of doom. Fool! The 16 red and white rose cards grant power over all. Druid legend has twisted the true meaning of these cards. We Rose Crusaders have sworn to create a utopia free from the ravage of war. We intend to accomplish this with the power of the cards, and we shall do so by extending the rule of Richard III throughout the known world. By the way, it was clever of you to form a circle of red roses within the white rose barrier to summon the Rose Duelists. But you were foolish to come alone. This area is surrounded. If you wish to leave with your life, you will do so only by handing over the red rose cards. Me? A fool? Then what about you? Are you fool enough to actually believe the red rose cards would remain here in my possession? Right after the summoning, I had the cards disappear among our best duelists to keep them from your tainted hands. Then you leave me with but one option. I shall enlist the aid of your precious Rose Duelist. You take leave of your sense. And you speak too soon, old man. Heed my words, duelists. If you wish to return to your proper time period, you will require 16 cards of the red and white roses. The red and white positions must be laid out in reverse of the summoning order to send you home. You know the spell? Since you need the 16 rose cards just as much as we do, I propose a partnership. Help us gather the cards, and I shall guarantee your return after we've achieved our ultimate goal. An absurd proposal! Do you think that the Honorable Darien would even lend an ear to your ridiculous proposal? Can you be so sure, old man? Let me see. Simon's side has 8 of the red rose cards, while my side, the Rose Crusaders, has possession of the 8 white rose cards. As the numbers are even, simply arithmetic indicates that you could side with either of us. But I'm sure you'll take into account who's winning this war after all. Who was desperate enough to summon you in the first place? I think it's quite clear which side is better positioned to send you home. Darien, heed not the words of this power-hungry lunatic. Simon, must you resort to name-calling? I'm hurt. I'll tell you what. Why don't we leave the decision to our dear duelist? After all, Simon, the duelist's future is not for us to decide now, is it? Well, yes, but... Splendid! In keeping with the tradition of the old temple gardens, I offer you a choice, duelist. Here are 2 roses. The white represents me, and the red for the old Simon here. For the sake of justice, choose the red rose! Stand by my side, duelist. Choose the white rose. Okay, so our decisions are this. Help the losing side, or have a guaranteed way of getting back home. Help the losing side, guaranteed way back home. There's a reason why this is on top, because he's guaranteeing your trip back home. This side was just desperate to summon us. But I usually like to go with the good side first, which is kind of confusing on which you can consider is good. But we're going to take the red rose path first. How disappointing. Oh well, you made your choice and I respect that. For now, I will guarantee your safe passage until you've met with Yugi. After all, I don't want our little game to end too quickly. That wouldn't be sporting. I look forward to the day when we meet again, duelists. Until then. We're on a boat. The French Empire, Brest, Isle of Bretagne. And we have Yugi, Simon, Grandpa, and I see Joey there as well. Tyrion, I present Prince Yugi, last Prince of Lancaster, a true Welshman, and the hope of we who call ourselves Celts. My lord, may I present Tyrion, the Rose Duelist. You serve us well, Simon. My mother was wise in summoning you from Scotland. You honor me, sire. Wait, are you a guy or a girl? Duelist, I am Yugi. Actually, Henry Tudor is my name, but I find it tiresome. You may call me Yugi. I'm sure Simon explained to you, but it's only right that I request your service myself. I need you to return to England and put an end to the threat of the Rose Crusaders. Their white rose cards form a barrier that prevents my armies from setting foot on British soil. Although we Celts have the red rose card, we are but inheritors who are unable to wield their full power. In the hopes of reversing our fortune, we gambled on a Druid legend that spoke of a rose duelist. According to the same legend, one must use a deck whose cost is lower than the opponent to capture a rose card of another color. I believe that it is important that you keep this in mind. The cost of your deck should not exceed the cost of your opponent's deck. I would like you to note that our resources have been pressed to the limit, requiring us to evade. England by August. My troops will land in Milford Haven, Wales, and march on to face the enemy at Bosworth Field. Having all of the Rose Crusaders out of commission by this time would be ideal, but as that might prove difficult, any reduction of their force would be appreciated. Right then, let us part company and reunite in Bosworth. Simon will provide you with the details as to where and when we'll meet once more. Okay, and we get placed right here in this little town here. And we get 2 options. But with that very long tutorial on how to play a children's card game, by the way, this is our deck leader. Next time on Yu-Gi-Oh! The Duelists of the Roses, we'll be going against our first opponent.